So, after about 4 years of dealing with the screw jacks down in the basement and trying to slowly push the house back up from the inside, we didn't really notice much improvement beyond a hump that would develop in the middle of the dining room floor every time we had the screw jacks readjusted, which isn't really something that you could really call an improvement so much as something we noticed that we didn't want to have. And so we finally decided we'd move forward with renovating the house and decided we'd start with the second floor because the kids were getting old enough that sharing bedrooms was starting to create conflicts we'd rather avoid. We met with a few renovation companies and made our selection. Their architect made their drawings, and demolition began in mid April. I should have, but failed to, take a lot more video and photos of what had been done, but here's a small sample of what I did capture. Of the four bedrooms, three of them had these electric vinyl heating pads glued to the ceiling. Legend has it they were installed by my grandparents, used once, and never turned back on again. My aunt was given a kerosene heater for warming her room in the morning before school during the winter. Unfortunately, I didn't get pictures of them before they were removed, and I remember them in the dumpster, and I still didn't take a photo of them. This is the aftermath of having it and the ceiling fan removed from the westmost bedroom. The bottom hole there is where the light switch for the room was, and the top one was where the knob that acted as a thermostat for the heating pad. These are images showing various stages of demolition of the eastmost bedroom. If you look close, you can see the header of the original structure ringing the outside wall of that bedroom there. As part of the renovation, one of the things we had them do was remove the chimney that went from the basement through the northwest corner of the dining room and the eastmost bedroom and on through the roof. We found some pretty cool old wallpaper behind where the chimney was after they demolished it. One of the many issues or odd decisions lost to history that were uncovered during the demolition was that the chimney was not original to the house. It was added at some point, probably to accommodate a furnace. When it was installed, they chose to cut the joist and rafter, and we assumed it was just left dangling instead of fastened to the chimney somehow. We never confirmed with the demo crew how they found it. In the dining room, alongside the chimney, was a chase that contained some electrical and an air duct. It's got to be an 8-inch duct, round duct, that goes all the way from the basement to the second floor, only to be reduced down into a vent size, which begs the question, why did they need an 8-inch duct? When the floor in the hallway and the bathroom were removed, we discovered some interesting issues. One of them was this joist. That joist that was split is that one right there, and we sistered it on both sides. That's just a piece of lath. Forget about that, but we sistered it all the way down on both sides. We're not going to talk about this joist, which is not a thing that actually provides any sort of support anymore. The guys that came to do the work were quick. Before we had a chance to process almost anything, the demo was done and the joists were sistered. Here you can see after the bedroom was sistered and subfloor put down, how bad the lean was between the hallway and the bedroom. One thing we did notice after the sistering was complete was that the ceiling and the walls of the dining room and the foyer were coming apart more than it was before. We noticed from above lath barely holding on to joists, and the walls were really starting to bubble. We decided not to try to have dinner beneath the crumbling ceiling and added the ceilings and walls of these two rooms to the project, even though we hadn't planned on it. It was shortly after this that I went to the basement and looked up and found one of the original joists from 1887 or older had grown a crack that went from the center beam to about 3/4 of the way down the length of the joist and curved up to the top, leaving effectively two separate pieces of ancient wood dangling on top of each other. This concludes episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3.